Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today's reading is going to be all about what will your biggest successes be during your lifetime. Now, this can mean anything. It could be you'll have great financial success, or it could be relationship success, or literally any skill under the sun. You could be most successful at like rock climbing or photography. So the aim of this reading is to show you what 3 things will be your most major successes in your lifetime. And I think this one's gonna be really interesting. I'm not quite sure what to expect, but I'm really excited to get into it. But today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. We have pile 1 with the rose quartz, pile 2 with the black eye agate, and pile 3 with the green aragonite. So go ahead and pause, figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. I'll leave timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1. If you chose the rose quartz, then this is the reading for you. And right off the bat, you've already got a very positive reading because the very first card to come out was abundance. And immediately that made me think of money. So I think one of the things that you really won't need to worry too much about is finances, and that's either because you're somebody who is bringing in a lot of money or you're just really good at managing your money. Maybe you'll have like a lot of different investments. Maybe you'll start learning about like different savings accounts or ways to put away your money in smart ways so that you'll always have a cushion of like safety. And so that really makes me think that you'll be really successful when it comes to money. And the Queen of Swords reversed, this card makes me think like the swords is all about like action and thinking, but with the reverse, it almost makes me think like it's an afterthought. Like you've got a lot of stuff going on in the background. So you could be somebody that has multiple different streams of income, specifically with things that you don't need to think too much about, like set it and forget it kind of thing. Like, you know, when people are like fishing and they just kind of set out lures and like wait for a fish to get caught on it, I feel like you're gonna have that, but when it comes to money, like investing in like, I don't know, cryptocurrency or different stocks, and like you just kind of set it and forget it, and like it builds you money over time. Things that you don't really need to think a lot about, but I feel like you'll have a lot of different things going on in the background like that, building you up money. And like I said, you'll have savings accounts and just different ways to build up abundance where you're not really going to need to be worrying about it too much. Money is just going to be something that is around you and is something that you're always going to have. Yeah, so right off the bat, that's probably one of the best cards that you could have, being one of your major life successes, because, yeah, I feel like a lot of people came to this reading hoping that that would be one of theirs, and it seems like that's going to be yours. So rest assured, even if your main source of income or the career you're going into isn't like the biggest money maker in the world, you will be one of those people that really puts a lot of time and effort into learning how you can make different streams of revenue and how you can build up your savings in order to have a bigger income. Because I feel like a lot of people's wealth comes from how smart they are about like where they put that money into things. They're not just like spending it on a bunch of expensive things. They're actually finding ways to get money coming back to them. And I think that you're definitely going to be one of those kinds of people. Now, the next 2 cards that we have here are Death and the Page of Wands. And this, don't let the Death card scare you, because I actually think that it's positive in this case. What this makes me think is you're somebody who's going to be really good at reinventing yourself, or somebody who's going to be really good at making changes when you're unhappy. Because when I'm looking at the Page of Wands card here, the Page of Wands is one of the youngest and most passionate cards in the deck. It's, you know, a young man who looks like he's on a journey to just follow where his desires and where his passions take him. And I feel like you're somebody who you never let yourself get stuck in a rut where, like, if you're no longer happy where you are, you're not just gonna stay there and then slowly wither away until you're like super bored with life. I think you're gonna be one of those people that if you sense that you're unhappy or you sense that you're bored, you're gonna start finding ways to make a change, to reinvent your life, or, you know, try out new things, try out new careers, live in new places, so that you don't get stuck, so that you don't get bored. So one of the biggest successes in your life is not only keeping yourself happy and excited and passionate about life, but reinventing yourself, going with the flow, especially with, you know, I'm somebody personally that believes like the universe will take us where we're meant to go. And if there are certain changes that need to be made, they will be made for us. It's just a matter of like flowing with, you know, the flow of things. I feel like you're somebody who is going to be very good at just going with the flow. And when you sense that it's time for a new direction or you feel the winds changing, instead of going against it, you are going to be in that flow and you're going to be like, all right, it's time for a change. It's time to take my life in a new direction. I think that that is something that you are going to be really successful at, and not getting bogged down or stuck or believing that you don't have any agency to change your life. I feel like you're somebody who, I'm no longer happy here. All right, let's go move to New York, or let's go move to Australia. Like, you'll just make it happen. You won't be somebody who thinks about like, but what if, or, oh, these consequences. You're like, no, I'm prioritizing me, I'm prioritizing my life and the experiences that I want to have, and I'm making it happen. And with the Page of Wands, this card is all about like youth and passion and energy to me. And so I feel like when people will see you, even if you're older, they'll see you and they'll be like, wow, that person just has such a young, vibrant energy to them. How are they able to have so much positivity and passionate energy? And I feel like that is something that people are really going to sense, like, wow, this person has lived a successful life, not just in the monetary sense, but like you've really enjoyed life and allowed yourself to experience everything that you want because you allow yourself to reinvent yourself. You don't stick to like, okay, this is my label as a carpenter. I can never change from being a carpenter. No, you're like, okay, I was a carpenter for a few years. Now I want to go be a beekeeper. And it's like, you don't let labels and like the way people perceive you keep you stuck in one place. You are ready to reinvent and change whenever you're no longer happy or whenever you don't want to be stuck anymore. And finally, with protection and the Hierophant, I feel like you will be very, very good at being independent. And I feel like you'll have a very strong sense of self where other people's opinions and beliefs cannot really rock you or change you up or like make you feel super insecure or doubt yourself. Because the Protection card and the Hierophant together, they almost make me think of somebody who, they've got this strong shell around them that it doesn't stop them from connecting with other people, but it allows them to be so strong in their beliefs. Like, for instance, if I really wanted to be a traveler, that's what I wanted to do with my life. I just wanted to travel around and explore. Somebody coming up to me and saying, like, that's not realistic, wouldn't be able to rock my boat or wouldn't be able to change my opinion because I'm so strong in my opinion that that's what I want to do with my life, that's what makes me happy, and I have all these logistics of how I can make it happen. So if I had to apply it to you, if you, for instance, are like, I want to live my life this way, or I want to make these changes, and people come up to you and are like, you can't do that, or that's not right, it's like water off a duck's back. Like, it truly doesn't bother you because you have such a strong sense of self. So I see you being very successful at like your independence, your sense of self, not letting things get to you, and that will make you an extremely strong individual, somebody that people look at and they're like, wow, that person knows exactly what they want to do with their life and nobody can get in the way of that. So I think that you're going to have a very successful life when it comes to like your sense of self. I think you're going to be really smart with money. That's not going to be something that I feel like that also ties into the sense of self, because a lot of people, when they don't have a ton of money, try to blow all that money on things that make them appear rich, make them appear like they have more money, because I feel like it stems from a place of caring what other people think of them. And for you, it's like, since you already don't care about that, you're putting that money away to smarter things instead of just trying to seem flashy and like you have everything. I feel like you're somebody that you don't have a lot to prove to other people. You live for yourself, not for what people think of you. And so, like I said, you're going to be great with money. You're always going to have that safety net, and you're going to have like a lot of different streams of income. I think that you're somebody who is very creative when it comes to how you can earn money, constantly thinking of different, I don't know, like side hustles or gigs or things that interest you that could bring money in. And you're also somebody who's very good at reinventing yourself. I don't think that you're going to be one of those people who goes down life in one direction and has like one career or one purpose and like you follow that for your entire life. I think you're somebody who's always going to be changing. You could be really drawn to like entrepreneurship or art and just constantly wanting to change and explore lots of different things. And the ability to reinvent yourself keeps your life exciting, even if you're on your own. I get a big sense that you could absolutely be somebody who's looking for a partner, but you have such a strong independent energy that it's almost like you don't need other people. Like, you don't need their opinions. You don't need their love. Like, it's nice to have people around. It's nice to have friends, but you're such a strong independent person with such a strong sense of self it's not a need for you. It's like, yeah, that'd be fun, but the most important person in my life is myself. So I feel like you're all about exploring what you desire and chasing after what makes you happy. And yeah, that's what I have for you. I think all in all, if you were drawn to this pile and this really resonated with you, you are going to live a very strong, successful life in a lot of the different areas that people try to, but don't really know how to do it. Like, people want money, but they blow money on all the wrong things. But for you, it's like you understand how to keep good things and how to make things happen for yourself. And it takes a very special kind of person. So if you were drawn to this, I mean, I'd say good luck, but it doesn't seem like you need good luck. So pile 1, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 2. If you chose the black eye agate, then this is the reading for you. Now, I have to warn you, I've been feeling really weirdly out of breath for a few days. I don't know why, but if I'm a little bit slow or I take some breaks here and there, that's why. But I want to start you off by saying that I think it's really, really interesting that you got the abundance card coming out as the very first card that came out for you, and it was the very first card that came out for pile 1. So far, you and pile 1, financial abundance is going to be something that is one of your great successes in life. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean that you're going to be like a billionaire or a millionaire, but you are going to be very well off. And I think, especially for you, there's a strong driving force to not be in poverty, to not be, like, for example, you have this 5 of Pentacles card. And when you look at it, you see that there's these people that are quite literally stuck out in the cold. You know, they're wounded, they've got ripped clothing, they're out in the snow, one of them's barefoot. To me, that symbolizes poverty, really not having any financial abundance, any financial security. Literally, it looks like these people don't have a home. And so for you, I feel like you're somebody who, maybe you came from a very tough background where there was not a lot of financial security for you, there was not a lot of financial abundance, and because you felt what that's like, you know how much you hate living like that. You are somebody who has a very strong driving force behind you to ensure that you have financial abundance. Now for pile 1, when they got the abundance card, to me, it seemed more like they were people that save a lot of money. They're people that will always make sure that they have a lot of different streams of income, and so therefore they always have money coming in. But for you, it seems like there's more a drive to become very successful in a specific field. So like, whereas pile 1 was like a very, very smart with money, and like, just even if they're not making a ton, they know how to have financial stability. For you, I feel like your goal is to be wealthy, to create wealth, and not just for you, but for your family and for your children if you decide to have children. And so what I see for you is, you know, possibly being like an entrepreneur, being very successful at like, when you have an idea of something that you want to create and you really want it to be successful financially, you are the kind of person who is going to put hours and hours and so much effort into making sure that that becomes a reality, making sure that it is as successful as possible, because you have a very strong why as to, you know, why you're doing this, what your end goal is. And there's this interview, I can't remember where I watched it, but it was this guy that he was born in a country, it was like a war-torn country at the time. I can't remember where it was. It was somewhere in Eastern Europe. But him and his family were actually quite wealthy, but they had to escape the country because, I think it was like in the Soviet Union. Like, it wasn't very safe for him and his family to be there. But then when they moved away, I think they came to the US, it was, and they went from like having a lot of money in this war-torn country to then coming to the US, where there was more stability, where there wasn't like a war going on, but they were suddenly very impoverished. And the guy was talking about how he hated that feeling of powerlessness and not having money, not having stability, that was his reason why. And then he ended up being an entrepreneur, being a very smart businessman. I think he wrote like a book or two. He's pretty famous now. He has a lot of really successful businesses, and he's extremely wealthy. So the moral of the story is, some of the wealthiest people are people who were willing to work extremely hard because they came from nothing, because they have that strong why. And I feel like you're one of those people that has a very strong driving force behind why you want to accomplish what you want. And because you have that clear vision and that clear goal, it's going to get you a lot farther than people who simply are like, yeah, I want money so I can like flash it and I can like get a bunch of expensive cars and stuff. For you, it's like, I never want to go back to the life that I lived before. And so I think you will be extremely successful at building wealth for yourself. And with determination and the Six of Swords, I feel like this is kind of building on the same thing where you are willing to do almost anything when it comes to achieving your goals. Because when I see the determination card, you see like this mountain with this bright light at the top of it. And it's like, you know your goal, you know how difficult it will be to get to the top of the mountain, but you are extremely determined to accomplish it. And the Six of Swords, this is all about like picking up and leaving wherever you came from, making sudden changes and uprooting your life in order to do what you need to do. So when it comes to you accomplishing what you want in life, when it comes to you building your empire or building your business or creating yourself into the person that you want to be, you will stop at nothing. And so I think that you're somebody who you're going to be extremely successful at accomplishing any goal that you have. I feel like financial abundance is just one side of things, but when you put your mind to things that you really care about, like maybe there's a nonprofit that you want to create, or maybe it's a certain goal that you want to pursue, whatever it is, you will stop at nothing to ensure that you can create it, that you can be successful at it, including like picking up your life and moving, or giving away large sums of money to where you have like basically nothing, but you know in the end it's going to build you up even bigger than you were before. And finally, you have pain and the Nine of Cups. And I feel like all of these cards are very similar because they all stem from where you came from, or who you were when you were younger, or the circumstances around your childhood. I feel like that is a big driving force as to why you do everything, how you're able to accomplish everything. Because you have pain and then the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is a very positive card. It's all about wish fulfillment, accomplishing the things that you desire. It's all about accomplishing your goals and being very satisfied in life. But it comes from pain. And what I mean that it comes from pain is your driving force is all the pain that you suffered through. It's instead of going through pain and suffering and saying, this is going to hold me down for the rest of my life, I'm living in that victim complex and telling yourself that you'll never be great because of where you came from or because you didn't have opportunities. Instead of telling yourself that lie, you use that and you say, this is my driving force behind accomplishing everything that I set out to do. I'm going to use this pain and this suffering as my fuel to push me towards my goals. So that's actually an extremely powerful thing to do, because a lot of people who maybe grew up in the situations that you grew up in, or grew up in the circumstances you grew up in with like very little opportunity to succeed, would see all that and would say, well, you know what, everybody in my neighborhood ends up staying here their entire life. They don't amount to much, therefore I'm not going to amount to much. I was never handed opportunities, so therefore I cannot succeed. You say, no, just because I wasn't handed things easily doesn't mean that I'm just going to give up and sit here for the rest of my life. I am going to use all this pain and use it as my fuel to push me forward, and I'm going to get out of this because I never want to go back to that life. I think that that is going to be how you persevere, is using that pain and allowing it to fuel you instead of allowing it to hold you down. I think that you're going to be somebody who is very good at shifting perspective. Like I said, going from like a victim complex, or thinking of yourself as a victim or not being able to amount to much, and flipping that to be, I don't ever want to be a victim, so I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I feel like you're going to have a very strong mindset, and you're going to be somebody who's very driven towards success on any level. I think financially, that is going to be one of the things that you want to go after, is financial success. But once you've achieved that, you're going to start brainstorming all of these other things, like, what's my deeper purpose in life? What else do I want to go to? How do I want to help people? How do I want to better my community? And all of those things are going to be things that you can accomplish and things that you can basically make happen, because for you, it's like, even the sky isn't the limit. There is no limit for you. Nothing can stop you because you don't allow yourself to fall into that mindset of, this will stop me. for you, it's like nothing can stop me until death itself comes for me. Like, I feel like you are extremely driven and you have a very strong passion inside you that stems from whatever it was, the unhappy childhood or the circumstances that you lived in that you didn't like, or the poverty that you had to endure. Whatever that was, that is your fuel that pushes you towards success. So, pile 2. Sorry, that was very long-winded, but I see you being somebody who's very successful, not just financially, but in any kind of goal that you push yourself to. I think even if it's something that you're not passionate about, if it's like, for instance, like you're like, oh, I need to be a doctor, like I just need to get it out of the way, I'm gonna make a bunch of money, I don't like, going to doctor school or whatever, I don't like being a doctor, but I'm gonna make it happen. You're somebody who, even if you don't like what you're doing, if you know it's necessary and you know it's going to be a step along the way of allowing you to achieve what you want, you will persevere and get it done, no matter what it is. Like, I think you will be an extremely determined person, somebody that can accomplish anything you set your mind to. And you also have a very strong reason why. I think that you're somebody with a very strong mindset and a very strong sense of drive to allow you to pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue. So, pile 2. That is everything that I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope it found you when you needed the most, and I hope that you believe in yourself, because it seems to me here like you are an incredibly strong person destined for success. So the only thing that could be stopping you is mindset, and I feel like you're somebody who is determined and destined to get over that and reach success. So good luck to you. But that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 3, last but certainly not least. If you chose the green aragonite, then this is the reading for you. Now, I have a very unique reading for you. I feel like this isn't going to resonate with a ton of people, because it seems pretty specific. But starting off here, you have space and the Ten of Pentacles reversed. And one of your great successes in life is you learning to choose your happiness and your peace above all else. And the thing that makes me think that this is going to be very unique is the Ten of Pentacles card reversed here. And to me, this makes me think about somebody who either came from a family that had a lot of money, or you ended up having a lot of money in your life for a short amount of time. Like, you were maybe with somebody who was very wealthy and you got to experience like an extremely wealthy lifestyle. But you realized when you had all that money, or when you were living that lifestyle, you realized how unhappy it all made you feel. Like, all that material wealth, yeah, it made you comfortable, yeah, it could get you anything that you wanted, but it couldn't bring you true happiness and true fulfillment and true connection and real purpose. And one of the biggest things that you care about, one of the things that matters to you most in the world, even more so than money and financial wealth and abundance, is your happiness. And I feel like there's going to be a big period of your life where you are devoted to finding out what truly makes you happy, finding out what your true purpose is, finding out what truly fulfills you. And it will require you choosing that over financial abundance. So for example, maybe you get into a relationship with somebody who's extremely wealthy and the two of you are together for a while. It takes you, having to leave that relationship in order to find what truly makes you happy. Or maybe, for example, like if your family was really wealthy, but they had a certain idea of how you're meant to live your life. And they say, if you deviate from this path that we set out for you, you're cut out of the will. You don't get money. And it's one of those hard decisions where, do you walk away from stability and safety and financial abundance in order to go after what truly makes you happy? Or do you, stay there where everything's easy? And I feel like for you, you have that strength and ability to walk away from that financial abundance, something that not a lot of people would be able to do. But for you, it matters so much, finding yourself, figuring out what truly makes you happy, even if it breaks your heart to go away from that relationship or from your family and deviate from this path that seems safe, even though you're going into the unknown and it's scary and you don't understand it. Your biggest success in life will come from your ability to choose yourself and choose what makes you really happy. I feel like I feel like this is a journey that you either haven't yet had to go through or it's just beginning, because I feel like you're still either you need to go through it or you're in the thick of it right now where you don't quite know where it's leading you, but it's all about making that decision of needing to choose yourself and choose what truly makes you happy. Now, that's what makes me think that this is going to be a very unique reading, because I don't think that that's the life story of a lot of people. But I think it's going to be a very prominent, like for some reason I'm thinking like a decade, like a very strong decade of your life is going to be devoted to finding yourself, exploring this. It almost seems like independence. It might feel like loneliness because you're leaving everything that you've ever known, or if it's not like family, like I said, it could be like that abundance that was always there to catch you. It no longer being there is going to be this new thing that you have to navigate and you have to figure out, but through that, you end up finding success in ways that matter more than just money, if you know what I'm trying to say. It also shows to me here the next biggest success in your life. You have the Sadness card and the Three of Wands reversed. I think that you are somebody who, I already said here, like you are very devoted to finding what truly makes you happy, what your true purpose is or your true fulfillment. And with Sadness and the Three of Wands reversed, one of the things that you will be most successful at is allowing your emotions to be your compass of what direction to go in. I think that you're somebody who's very good at recognizing what paths will not make you happy, what relationships will not make you happy, what decisions will not make you happy. And when you can recognize that those things aren't for you, when they don't feel authentic, they don't feel genuine, or they feel like things that are very temporary, or like they're not actually meant for you, you know to go in a different direction. And so I feel like this is a bit hard to explain. I hope you know what I'm trying to say, but one of the things that you'll be most successful at in life is knowing which direction not to go in. And I feel like that's kind of like half the battle is, it's hard enough to figure out where you're trying to go next, but if you know where not to go, or if you know what you don't like, at least you know not to go in that direction. So I feel like this is something that will make a lot more sense to you as you get older, as you go through more life and more hard decisions, but you're somebody who's very good at choosing your happiness, choosing authenticity, what truly matters to you, and the biggest guidance that's going to help you is knowing where not to go. I feel like for a lot of the time people are trying to figure out where to go, but for you it's like you always know where not to go, and as long as you know where not to go, eventually you'll find out the right path for you. And finally, the last great success that we have here is confidence in the Ace of Swords. I feel like you're somebody who, I feel like all these cards really tie well together because they're all about your personality and like the core of who you are and your reason for being. I feel like you are somebody who confidently goes after the things that you want to accomplish. Like for instance, you choosing your happiness, you choosing your passion or what you really care about pursuing. You're somebody who is very confident in your decisions to do that. Even though it might be hard leaving behind family or certain relationships or that security. At the end of the day, you don't second guess your decisions because you know it's right for you. You will be extremely successful at choosing authenticity. I think you were born to be a very authentic person. I feel like a lot of people can fall into the trap of living the way that other people want them to live, or living in a way that will not have them be judged, or living in a way that'll make them blend in with the crowd. And you're somebody who you'd much rather not blend in if it means that you're going to be really happy. If it means that you can be your authentic self and truly do what it is that you were put on this planet to do. And with the Ace of Swords, this card is all about action, creation, doing, making things happen, speaking your mind. Like I said, being authentic. And with the Confidence card, you only get stronger as you continue to live like that, as you continue to do these things, as you continue to move in the direction that you know you're meant to move in and continue putting one step in front of the other. It's like, I feel like the beginning of the journey is you leaving behind safety and comfort and what you've always known. And it starts you off in a place where you feel very alone, you're not quite sure where to go. But like I said, every step further makes you feel stronger bit by bit until you're running like full tilt. I know all this was like very it seems like it's like a lot of symbolism and kind of vague. I'm trying to narrow it down as much as I can. But I feel like your biggest journey in life is going to be one of the heart and the mind rather than like, material abundance or like you're going to be good at like this material skill or like this or that. A lot of it has to do with emotions. I feel like you're a very cerebral person, somebody who's always in their head, always moving through different emotions, and truly thinking about like, what do I want next in life? How am I going to get there? That's what I mean by cerebral. And so that's why I feel like this is a bit more vague, but I hope that you understand what I'm trying to see here. So to summarize, it seems like your biggest successes in life are going to be your ability to choose yourself and the authentic life that you want to live above all else. I think that you're going to be very successful at figuring out what your true purpose is in life and following that and making sure that everything that you do is for your highest good and for your true fulfillment, not for the fulfillment of others or the idea of the life that you're supposed to live. You're also going to be very successful at, like I said, knowing what direction to not go in. You're going to be very good at following things that you know are not going to make you unhappy. That was a lot of nots. You know what direction not to go in, basically. And finally, you're going to be very good at going after the things that you truly want. In fact, your confidence is going to be built upon the actions that you take towards the things that you want. So, pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. I feel like that seemed pretty quick, but that is everything that I have. I hope it made sense. I hope that it found you when you needed the most, but thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.